When Kyrie Irving requested to be traded from the Brooklyn Nets after they failed to reach an agreement on a contract extension, or I guess I should say Kyrie was so insulted by their offer that he said, "That's it, I'm out, move me before the deadline." And after this news broke, Kyrie was traded a few days later to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and an unprotected first-round pick. And the thought at that time was, the Mavericks, they're struggling. They were falling well below expectations after going to the conference finals the year before, and bringing in a big name like Kyrie Irving, a very talented, highly skilled star in the league to put alongside Luka Doncic, would be just what the team needed to keep Luka happy. As it was becoming apparent, he was growing frustrated with the roster and the overall future of the team was in doubt, especially after losing Jalen Brunson in the offseason. But of course, as most of us thought would happen, bringing Kyrie to the Mavs didn't work. They missed the play-in entirely. Their defense was atrocious after the trade. Wasn't that great already, but it was especially bad after the fact. And with Kyrie now set to become an unrestricted free agent on July 1st, and with the Dallas Mavericks' future in doubt after an abysmal season, Luka Doncic unhappy with the team being built around him, the question now is, where do the Mavs go from here? And it appears Kyrie Irving is trying to take matters into his own hands by recruiting LeBron James to Dallas. But we're going to talk about why that is very unlikely to happen, and if it did, how it wouldn't actually move the needle much for the Mavs in acquiring LeBron. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy this type of content, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video, and in return, I'll be providing more NBA content like this. Now, as I'm sure most of you saw yesterday, Shams Charania reported that according to sources, Kyrie has reached out to LeBron in an attempt to see if he would come to Dallas, which a quote-unquote report like this in and of itself is always so speculative, because while I don't deny that there is likely some truth to Kyrie actually reaching out to LeBron, they are good friends after all. They won a title together in Cleveland, and we all know that LeBron was wanting the Lakers to go all in trading for Kyrie when he had made himself available to be traded from the Nets. Like, there is no question there is a desire from both of these guys to team up together again. And if it's a report coming from Shams, who is one of the most credible NBA news sources, it's probably true. But the fact of the matter is, players do this all the time. As much as the league tries to put strict tampering policies in place, it's common knowledge that players talk amongst each other, recruit each other, and see where guys' heads are at, whether it be through free agency signings or potential trades. It happens, we all know it. So Kyrie reaching out to LeBron and the two of them working to try to team up together isn't a surprise. Now, I'm sure some will say, well, this is a surprise because why wouldn't Kyrie just sign with the Lakers if he really wants to play with LeBron? He's going to be a free agent anyway. The Lakers are a better team after having just gone to the conference finals. Why would he try to bring LeBron to Dallas instead? Well, the problem there is the Lakers don't have cap space to sign Kyrie outright. Not if they plan to re-sign some of their key restricted free agents like Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura to lucrative deals. So if they wanted to bring in Kyrie, it would have to be done via a sign and trade. And it's possible the Mavs have already indicated, we're not going to work with you on a sign and trade. We traded assets for you to bring you in to re-sign you long term. And in the event of a sign and trade, what assets would the Lakers send to the Mavericks that would actually be of value to them? They don't have picks to trade, and because Kyrie would likely be signing for a max or a near max deal, that would mean you're probably going to have to take on some bad contracts in this exchange if you're the Mavericks. Most likely D'Angelo Russell to a large contract that quite frankly he isn't worth, and maybe a non-rotational player or two, because it's not like the Lakers have draft picks to trade. So Kyrie, while yes, could find his way to the Lakers, it's possible but also very unlikely at this point. So instead, you have Kyrie trying to bring LeBron to Dallas, because Kyrie knows his options are actually rather limited in terms of what destinations he can go to while still getting a max contract. And even though Kyrie, yes, is very skilled, there are going to be teams wary of taking on a player like him, especially at such a large contract because of all the drama that comes with Kyrie, and of course, whether or not he'll actually be available to play in games and also give it his all when he's on the court. The Mavericks are actually one of the few teams that have the ability to offer Kyrie the most money, and a team that actually wants him, considering they just traded for him. But while Kyrie can try to convince LeBron to come to Dallas all he wants, it's not going to happen. First of all, there's this misconception that LeBron can just go to Dallas if he so pleases. LeBron is not a free agent this summer. He's still under contract for the next 2 seasons with the Lakers, the second year being a player option. In order for LeBron to actually join the Mavs next season, it would have to be done via a trade. And unfortunately for the Mavericks, they don't really have a ton of trade assets to actually bring in a player of LeBron's caliber. Now, sure, LeBron's trade value is probably low at this point in his career, considering he's going to be 39 next season, is going to be needing surgery this offseason. How good will he actually be coming back from said surgery at the age of 39 in his 21st season in the NBA? And teams are probably going to be a little reluctant to trade for a player like LeBron when we all know it's possible this is just going to be a one-year rental. As he's said before himself, he's going to play wherever his son gets drafted in 2024. So it's not like teams are going to be wanting to go all in for LeBron when they know it's going to be for a short-term stint. But it is still LeBron James, still a superstar in the NBA and a player that is highly productive and can impact the game in so many ways. And just the name of LeBron alone attracts audiences, brings in revenue and headlines. So it's not like you're going to get LeBron for pennies on the dollar. Thus, what do the Mavericks even have to trade for LeBron that would even be enticing enough for the Lakers to let their cash cow go? They have the number 10 pick, which is actually pretty valuable, and especially in this draft class. And if the Lakers actually do trade LeBron, yeah, it might be worth looking to restart and focusing on building for the future through their younger players and other draft assets, especially when they don't have draft picks to begin with. But outside of that, like really, what do the Mavericks have to dangle over the Lakers' heads to make them say, yes, this is worth trading LeBron James for? Tim Hardaway Jr. and his contract, which is not very favorable. Davis Bertans and his awful contract. Reggie Bullock, Maxi Kleber, maybe Christian Wood if it's through a sign-and trade. Josh Green is a young player with some upside, but come on now. This is LeBron James we're talking about here. The Lakers are not trading LeBron for the number 10 pick and some role players. That would be front office malpractice if they pulled the trigger on that. And not only that, if they actually are looking to potentially trade LeBron, they know they're going to be able to get better offers from teams who actually have more draft capital and younger players with upside. Say a team like the New York Knicks, maybe even the Sixers or the Bucks. I know the Lakers front office has made dumb moves in recent years, but they're not idiots to just let LeBron walk away for peanuts. Now, sure, LeBron could just demand a trade. He does like to control and play GM to get what he wants and bringing in players. And if he demands a trade to Dallas and only Dallas, yeah, the Lakers' hands are going to be tied. And they would have very little leverage in the situation. But still, matching salaries, making the money work. And you can't rule out the Lakers simply saying, hey, that's fine, we're not trading you. If that means you're just going to sit out, so be it. So that's the main piece here, is that it'll be so hard for the Mavericks to actually pull off a trade to get LeBron, given their current trade chips that they have before them. But secondly, does this actually make sense for the Mavericks to make a big push to bring in LeBron James? Does that actually move the needle for them? And while yes, I think most will agree they would be a better team than they were last year, but overall the fit of LeBron, Kyrie, and Luka, yes, would be fun and exciting some nights, isn't going to be conducive to winning a lot of ball games, and certainly wouldn't make them title contenders. Because here's the thing, what was the biggest struggle with the Mavericks after they made the trade for Kyrie Irving? Their defense, which was already really bad, but it got even worse after they got rid of Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie. They ended up finishing 24th in the league on defense on the season and were 29th overall post-deadline. They were the worst rebounding team in the league and by a wide margin, and were one of the worst teams in overall pace, finishing 28th last season in pace. For a team that had all of these challenges, and for a team that has one of the most ball-dominant guards in the NBA that is mainly effective when he's playing with the ball in his hands and either creating plays for others or for himself in Luka Doncic, to add yet another player with a similar style of play, ball-dominant, high-volume scorer, plays a lot of ISO and slows down the overall pace on offense, in Kyrie Irving, you now want to bring in another ball-dominant star, another big ego, puts up a lot of shots. Again, you're upgrading overall in terms of talent by bringing in a superstar like LeBron James. But how does that at all solve for your weaknesses when it comes to defense? Because certainly LeBron is not the defensive player that he used to be. And how does that solve your overall rebounding, pace, and transition offense? Not only that, you're also talking about trying to build a future where Luka Doncic being the face of your franchise for years to come, trying to build around a once-in-a-generation level player who is only 24 and hasn't even entered his prime yet, and you're focused on Kyrie Irving and LeBron James being those pieces who are not going to be long-term solutions. So no, even if the Mavs do somehow pull off a trade, Kyrie somehow recruits LeBron to Dallas at this stage in his career, and given where Luka is at his career and trying to focus on building contending teams for years in the future, with Luka being at the helm, yeah, I don't like this move for the Mavs. I think it would be a terrible fit, likely a 7 or 8 seed at best. And then they would lose LeBron the following offseason anyway after he declines his player option to go play wherever his son gets drafted. Yeah, It's not the way to go, especially if you're trying to keep Luka happy and get this team to start winning now. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because the trade isn't going to happen. LeBron is going to remain in LA, and who knows where Kyrie will end up, but it won't be in LA. I would love to hear what you guys think, though. Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.